My name is Psycho, and we're here live at Airsoft to Revolution 15. I know it's been a long while, but today we have a special guest. It's our boy Charlie, representing Specna Arms. Go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead and say hi.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me, Jay.
All right. So we do have an agenda that we're going to be going over. Let me just pull that up real quick. So Specna Arms. It's a brand new, not a brand new company, but it's a company new to us. Um, Charlie reached out, said, "Hey, I got a new company that I want to push with you guys, and that's what we're here for today. I know you guys have been seeing us and promoting it over the past couple of weeks, and it looks like we have our audio is really low. Let me adjust that real quick. How you guys sound like there, or is it low on Charlie? May have to adjust your mic here.
What about now?
Let me see. How's that say sound? Mic check. I think
Check,
it's
check. What, two?
yeah, I think it's you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to get closer to your mic. Anyways, so we're here
Yeah.
live. So this is the beauty about being live. We also have special guest Rush Airsoft that's gonna be joining us today. We have Big Sexy. You guys can go ahead and say hi, and then we got Gio who's gonna be joining us as well, joining our part for the Q&A. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and go to Charlie to where we can go ahead and pull that up right quick. See. All right, cool. All right, Charlie, talk to us about Flex. What is the Flex?
Sure. Well, let me just start off with introducing Specna Arms in case your listeners aren't really familiar. We're kind of relatively new to the U.S. per se, but not necessarily new to airsoft. Specna Arms was, or actually, I should say, is a Polish company. So our headquarters is out uh, in Poland. So we've been in terms of business, probably over 15 years now. So, we've kind of uh, grown dramatically in Europe, and we decided to come into the US just recently with our own distribution. And so now, that's when I kind of reached out to you from my previous experience, decided to kind of, thought that this brand would do really good in your indoor arena, as we have a lot of really nice replicas for entry levels, which will segment me into the Flex series. So the Flex series from our line is going to be basically your entry level AEG, which is going to be your polymer body, polymer receiver. It does come with a 380 round high cap magazine. Also, the nice thing about this is that with all our lines actually is that they're very, very versatile, where you're able to change out the spring. So it comes with a M120 spring shooting at 380 FPS, and then with the 2.0. And if you wanted to change out the spring, it comes with an included M90 spring, and that's going to get you around 330 FPS with a point 0.2. So that's something very nice to have. So it gives you, flexibility on whether you want to play indoors, outdoors. You don't have to buy a new gun for, or there are some companies out there that do say that they do have a quick spring change system. However, you still need to take out the gearbox and take out the spring guide in that way. So it's kind of nice where you just remove it through the buffer tube and take it out. And once you got it, kind of get down to the science, you're basically looking at less than a minute to take out the spring and get back in the game wherever you're playing. So then it comes up with front and rear flip up sights as well. It does come with a 6.03 type bore barrel, so conventionally to a standard, 6.08 barrel that most companies use nowadays. We decided to kind of upgrade a little bit more, and because of this, it gives you a little bit more tighter shots out of the box, and a little bit better accuracy as well too. So I think for the price point, you're looking at a very attractive replica out of the box just to get through the doors and start playing essentially.
Right. So last week we did a quick video on the ones that we got in, and something that we haven't seen in a very, I don't want to call it an entry level, but our low cost level rifles that are going to be polymer based. One thing we haven't seen is polymer M-lock rails. Usually you get stuck with the key mods or the Picatinny rails, or they're going to be proprietary rails. So with you guys actually offering the M-lock rail on a very low cost effective price, or package overall, I think it's a great thing that we didn't get to go over in the video, but we were able to showcase it though.
Mm.
When Charlie
Yeah,
was talking about
and
the
overall, it does reduce the weight, pretty good in my opinion. Especially with the new player. First, seasoned vets, that like, metal bodies, metal rails, especially that play at milsim games, we were kind of used to kind of lugging our rifle around throughout the whole day. But sometimes kids, that are, maybe under 14 or 13, that are just better getting the sport, they kind of find it pretty heavy for a gun to be, with the metal rail. So we try to keep it as light as possible, and I think this is kind of like targeting the entry level player as well, to kind of keep it simple, minimal, and affordable as well.
Right. Even so, I mean, I know like I have a lot of metal body rifles, but even
Hmm.
so, like some of my seasoned players that have played at ops, that played outdoors, indoors, other facilities, tournaments, CQB fields, no matter what it is, I seen a big change, a shift over to where it's like, you got any like boneyard polymer bodies that back there that I can just put, my HPA system into it, and you're like, oh shoot, yeah, no, go for it. And then when you install it, it's super duper lightweight. So to have a barrel and a rail that is also polymer, it makes the whole build super light.
Hmm.
So for future players, it's not just saying like, oh well, it's just an entry level gun. No, I mean there's seeing a lot of people who want to use it for HPA upgrades later on, they can because it's lighter, like you said.
Right. Yeah, and I would say our receivers and rail systems are very durable. Actually, you can kind of like bend the receiver a little bit, and that's why we kind of call it the Flex series. But I would say these polymer reinforced nylon receivers are very durable, so they're great for if you even want to get like just a receiver, just to like a boneyard receiver to gut it out in HPA. I think the receivers will take the abuse for its speed softers and other projects that people might be wanting a receiver for.
Right. So I'm a fan of the Flex series. Whether it's a entry level or a season player, it's a very durable. And people get it confused, like, oh, it's plastic, like Walmart guns. No, it's not. It's like you said, it's that reinforced polymer. Something else that we saw when we were doing the unboxing, and Will, the manager at AR, he was winding the mag, and like it didn't take long for the spring to compress. I don't know if it's something that you guys actually feature, but it's something that we did catch. Compared to other high cap magazines, sometimes you have to wind it for a good 30 seconds before it can actually feed the
To
BBs all the way
catch.
through. So
Right.
with this one, it was actually pretty quick. It was like, and it was done.
And the little like Easter egg for you guys is when you do buy a Specna Arms, if you look at the magazine closely enough, you'll see actually the SA for Specna Arm logo embedded and marked, or actually I should say engraved on the magazine themselves. So you can easily overlook this as just like texture on the magazine, but if you really look kind of closely on it, you'll see the Specna Arms logo on there, kind of stenciled in a little bit. So that's kind of a little Easter egg for you guys to
Right.
be on the lookout for.
Let me see. Anything else that you wanted to go over? So these are the Flex series that we carry. Um, Here you have it in full black, obviously, right? You got the
Right.
tan black combo. Here you have your full carbine lead. So the difference between having, well, here it says carbine, right? But
Mm,
generally people would say like, okay, well, this is a CQB rifle. Uh,
mhm,
Even though we have two springs on every single weapon here, um, the CQB length would be right here where it's a 10 inch, 12 I think would be pushing it, depending
mhm,
on the rail, you know what I mean. And then
mhm.
carbine length would be like the full where it's sticking out of the rifle. It's more like an SPR, an outdoor rifle.
Right, right.
Um, so here we have again we have the M-Lock series. So
Mhm,
here you have where it's thin in the middle, kind of like that 416 esque.
mhm. Like
Um,
a URX, like rail system. And something that you kind of mentioned earlier was how we brought in the M locks and not necessarily the key mod, and we do make the key mod rail systems as you see with the SAFO2. But we just felt that with the U.S. market, it's players and dealers are liking the M-Lock rail system more, and it's becoming more of a industry standard, in my opinion. And I think other people could agree with that. So, and it's a little bit better to find accessories where uh, in the past with the key mod rail system, it was really hard because there seemed to be almost two different types of um, specs. You would always find the Keymod airsoft spec, and then you always find the milsim or like the standard, um, spec for Keymod's mil spec for that. So time to time, you would find airsoft vertical grip for that mil spec Keymod rail, and it wouldn't fit because it would be off like just by like a 1 or 2 millimeter, and it wouldn't fit properly. So I think with the M Lock, there's more compatibility with the rail systems with the airsoft rails and real steel, to put a vertical grip or a laser or flashlight, however you like to dress up your gun. So I think the M Lock was kind of like the smart choice for us to bring in as opposed to the key mod.
right. Right. I know I have some shooters that are like, oh man, I'm a key mod guy, you know. They went from the full Picatinny rail to key mod, and then they got stuck there. But like you said, sometimes it's hard to find stuff that's compatible because these are off by just a hair, and you're like, man, then you have to Dremel that part out so we can fit, or you have to get a whole new rail. But with M-Lock, you have that extra length to where you can go M-Lock direct. So I think it's a great pick overall. I'm really liking this whole 416 esque front end here. Um, what did you call it though?
It's like a URX rail.
URX. Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually ordered a one for my other rifle. I'm not gonna say the name, but I ordered something like this. But it's a like a 18-inch one. But
gotcha.
that's why I'm like, ooh. Then it looks like it has a QD right here.
So it's kind of like like a knight's armament URX rail.
Right. I'm
So
supposed to be all like pushing the M-Lock. I'm over here looking at this one like
I know,
into
right?
detail.
Right,
All right. Let's keep going, guys. So here we also have the C series, which I don't think we're gonna be bringing into the market, right?
right.
Here in the United States, is usually like your core series, your beginner series beyond before this that they're just gonna phase out completely, from what I understand, right?
Uh, yeah, no, I mean we'll still have the core series, but due to certain licenses and other restrictions in the U.S., we won't be able to bring in the whole series line.
Wow.
And I think part of it is just we just want to make sure that as a manufacturer that we're able to supply you as a dealer with enough inventory. So rather than bring all these different lines in and just kind of like saturating like have been making you choose so much product to bring in, and obviously it might be difficult for your customers as well to see like, well, what's the difference with this or that, when there's so many options. So we just like
Right.
to kind of keep a slim selection. That way we have our core bread and butter to sell, and it's always easily available for you and also the end users too.
Right. And that's something that I want to talk about later on in here in the group, talking about why uh, it wasn't just a brand, Specna Arms, but it was Charlie who pretty much because of who he is, we were like, yeah, no, I mean, you put your brand behind it, and I'm not talking about Specna Arms or where you came from, but you as a person and knowing who you are, that's why we're like, all right, cool, that makes sense. Moving on to we have the Edge 2.0. Is this the one you wanted to talk about, or you want to go to the Edge line first?
Uh, I mean, I'll just make a little note with the core series. If you go
I can go
to the
back.
C series, yeah. So there are we do have these core series available now in the U.S. as well. And for people that are listening that might wonder, what the difference between the C series, the core series, or the Flex series. The only major difference is going to be that it comes with a metal rail as opposed to the Flex series that comes with a polymer rail. So other than that, performance, internals, everything is going to be exactly the same. It still comes with a 380 round high cap magazine. It has all the same bells and whistles, but it just comes with the metal rail. So with the core series, you have uh, more of a selection for aesthetics in terms of what the rails will look like. So if that's something important to you, then I think this will be something that you can choose with the core series. With the Flex, it's just kind of three models per se that you get to
Okay.
choose one. With the cores, you get up to 25 different SKUs with different color variations, rail lengths, and configurations as well. So I just wanted to kind of note that in case people are wondering. And then actually, if you go scroll down a little bit where you see SAC22, it does show right there that it comes with the Gate XASR. However, for the US market, we are not having the ASR, the XASR in the core series, but they will be in the Edge series, which I'll kind of use as a segment to transition over and talk about the Edge series now from that. So if you could go to the Edge series, um, yeah, go to E. There we go. Okay. So now, if you can kind of consider the Flex and the Core series kind of like your entry level, and then our Edge series and then Edge 2.0s are going to be more of your intermediate and more advanced for players that want a little bit more performance and kind of a little bit more range. So, starting off with the Edge, it's going to be full metal receivers and rails as well. It's going to come with two 125 round mid caps, which is great because now you're already saving some money with an extra magazine that comes with it.
Right.
And depending on the model configuration that you choose, it'll either come with a vertical grip or a angled grip. So now you have at least a $20, $30 in savings just with the grip itself, plus the extra mag. So we're already out the door. You're already saving about $40 just alone on those two things. So which is really nice to kind of, especially nowadays, it's people are very conscious of like you know what can I get for my money, or like things are going up in price, so definitely has this great added value to the product itself. um and so with this, like I said, with from the core series, is that this does have the gate XASR. It's just going to be your basic MOSFET, and actually, Gate is 2 hours away from our company headquarters in Poland. So this is kind of why we decided to partner up with them. It just kind of made sense when both companies are in Poland. They're very close to one another. It's kind of we should help each other out and just kind of have that kind of cooperation. So we were happy to kind of get that cooperation with Gate and have the products installed directly from the factory. So which is really nice. So. And also, it has the quick spring change system, as I noted in the Core and Flex series. And also going to have our Orion gearbox, which is also reinforced, to prevent any front end cracking as stress gets put onto the gearbox throughout gameplay and throughout its usage as well too. So this is going to be ideally more around the I don't know, probably you're looking around like 200 and like 50 to no, actually I would say yeah, maybe $240 to maybe up to the $300 price point. So just if you depending on the price range what you're looking at, I think this would be a very good contender for you to consider, just for the added value and the performance straight out of the box.
Right. So this is gonna be your high end rifle, so to speak. Like the series before this, drawing a blank. And then you have this one here that has everything, all the bells and whistles, the gate as the gate, X
ASR, yeah.
ASR installed into it. And then here are the models that you will be looking at that actually are, and I think we have this one
Yeah, and then so for
here.
the ones that say RRA, those are going to be our fully licensed Rock River Arms AEGs, and like for the one that you see on the tan one, you'll see that our Light Ops buttstock is one of our new buttstocks that we've designed and started implementing in our AEGs. So there's other configurations that you'll see with the Edge and Edge 2.0 featuring the Rock Rivers arms, and then also our new buttstocks to kind of give you a low profile, or for example, right adjacent to the Rock Rivers arm, the tan one, you see the SAE06 heavy op stock, and that one will give you much more battery storage for a bigger lipo. So if you're going to be doing a milsim game, you literally can just put one big fat lipo in there. You're good to go all day. So that's kind of the nice thing. You don't have to worry about carrying extra batteries or anything like that while you're playing.
Right. And all these are going to be available in the United States, especially at Airsoft or Revolution 15, my shameless plug. Anyways, guys, if you guys are not in San Antonio and you're not in Texas and you want some of these rifles, get with your local dealer. Get with your local field so that way they can get Specna arms. If you see anything that you like, get with them so that way they can get on board with Specna arms and they can contact Charlie so that way you can get some of these awesome looking rifles. I'm over here trying not to shop for myself, like, ooh, I like this, I like that. Um, so we have some PDW stocks. I know I have a lot of players that like those shorties. So
Mhm.
you do have them here, and these are really robust. Like they look mean.
Yeah, I mean, with the added grip and stuff, it kind of gives you a nice aggressive package right out of the box, and I think depending on what the player wants, they can either choose, angled grip or a vertical foregrip. Now, one of my favorites is actually the Chaos Brawn color that you see right there with the PDW, the E20. That finish is really nice, and it's one of my favorite color schemes and configurations. So for me, I like running the Edge 2.0 in that Chaos Brawn because it just really stands out, and it's nice to have. It's subtle, but it's not over like powering with like so much color. It just gives it a nice pop too.
Right. I think we have not this brand, not this model, but we have one that's in bronze. I think we got two of them
Mm,
in bronze. So um, Dino Defense, that's a big name. Uh,
hmm
I know that's a big question. I know a lot of players are gonna have is, hey man, I saw the Dino Defense on the live stream. So what's the deal with a licensed Dino Defense product? Is that something that we're gonna be able to go through you guys, or do we have to go through a third party for this?
You would have to go through a third party for that, and unfortunately, we're not able to distribute. Like I can distribute it on my side, because we sublicense it. We do make it, but it's for a third party, and if that's something that you're interested, then the easy thing is just probably going on Google and searching that model number SAE19 and kind of seeing
Yeah, and then you
where
guys
you're able
can
to get it,
right,
whether it's in the states or outside, depending on where you're listening from.
right. So I mean, I know that's gonna be a question that's gonna pop up real quick because like I said, I have some people that love to put out their brands and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, hey man, I want this, I want that," and it's like, "Oh, I saw it in your live stream," and just to clarify, what
Mhm.
that is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so moving on to the Edge 2.0 Line X series here.
Right. So this is our take of Edge 2.0 series in general is kind of our flagship product line. So this line will have all the bells and whistles that a player would like to have straight out of the box. And obviously there's still a lot of room for upgrades and configurations that you might want to make personally, but just to kind of keep it a standard something performance AEG, straight out of the box. I think this Edge 2.0 series does a phenomenal job in meeting demands of what players might want right out of the box without upgrading too much. And provided them really good performance. So the X series was introduced earlier this year, I believe, where it was our take on the kind of craze of the 9 millimeter PCC carbine caliber, and we kind of went to the drawing boards and kind of there were already 9 millimeter AEGs out there, whether it was the G&G or P9, the classic Army X9, and some other ICS made one too. I can't think of the model number of the ICS, but ICS made one too. So there's a lot of companies that make the 9 millimeter style AEG. So we decided, sure, why not? Might as well kind of cater to that demographic for speed softers or just people that like the 9 millimeter, carbine AEG. So with the Edge 2.0, what you can expect is it's going to come with a gate Astra unit in there. So it's going to give you a lot of different configurations in terms of trigger sensitivity. It also comes with our trigger, solar trigger, which it works conjunction with the Astra, so it gives you really good trigger response. And if you do have a Gates Blue Link, you're able to pair that up with or the Astra module with your phone, whether it's Android or iPhone. You're able to pair it up and then basically kind of fine tune your trigger sensitivity and pretty much like figure out exactly what your gun is doing, which is awesome. People that want to know what your rate of fire is, if you want to have binary trigger or semi burst, 2 round burst or whatever, you'll be able to do that all with the app. So that's a really nice feature to have. Also, the magazines, you also get two magazines of the 9 millimeter inside the box, which is great. They are 120 round mags, so you do definitely get a little bit better capacity than what other companies might offer out of the box, which I believe are 60 rounds. So you get double the capacity plus an extra magazine. And our magazines are also compatible with the G&G or P9 and the classic Army X9 as well too. So for players that want, maybe they already have a G&G or P9 or a classic Army X9, they can still buy our magazines and it will work just fine with their AEGs as well too. And then it comes with, oh, and then something I forgot to mention about the Edge series, the 1.0 versus and the 2.0, they both come with their wired Jadines as well. So that's something nice to have straight out of the box to not deal with Tamiya connectors or Tamiya batteries. And if you let me scroll up real quick, second. Yeah, so for this one, it does come with a vertical grip, or if you want the X02, it comes with an angled grip. So just depending on what your preference is, it does come with the pre-installed flat hop in there, so it does really give you really good, exceptional range when you're shooting. Even with the flat hop, shooting 3.2s it shoots really well. And I was actually really surprised with the distance. My colleagues were kind of telling me, hey, but the flat hop is pretty decent out of the box and gets you pretty range. I'm like, no, I'll believe you when I see it. And lat was it? We're in August already. So back in June, I kind of did a 2 week tour around the U.S. and I was kind of demoing the rifles to some other dealers as well. And I was just shooting like pretty far, like maybe 180 feet, 200 feet, like literally out of the box. I'm like, wow, I was really impressed with the range with like 3.2s and heavier weight BB. So that's something if that's important to you for range and tight groupings, then this is probably something you might want to consider and take a look at as well. And
So question. So the Edge 2.0, uh, is that gonna be like all the flat hops are installed in all the Edge 2.0s or just the X series?
the 2.0s,
Okay, just to make sure. Okay,
yeah.
so and these are the four models for that PDW style 9 millimeter rifles. Is there any other series that you wanted to cover before I go to the questions? Um,
You can take a
because
look on the so this. since it's the X, go to the Edge 2.0 and go to the E series, which will be on the right side, just a little bit to the right on the bottom.
The bottom,
You
right here,
said
the
like
E
X
series.
series, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then that way I can kind of show. Unfortunately, the because of the PDW style stock on the X series, you're not going to be really able to do a quick spring change. You have to kind of remove the whole PDW stock in order to engage the spring guide in the back. However, with the M4, the kind of the traditional crane stocks, you're able to just um, twist a lug nut. Except, see if I
Here's the video.
can you scroll up a little bit? See, or actually, if you could do me a favor, if you click on the top, where you see replicas on the top. So like
Right.
replicas, parts and accessories. Yeah, go to Edge 2.0 and then go to E series.
Got it.
Just see if okay, and then just scroll down a little bit, so that way people can kind of see. So like on the number two, where it says the ESA two, it's our easy it's our quick, pretty much our quick spring change system, like 2.0, easy systems access with the kind of like the lug nut, like I was talking about, and you basically just twist that off, and then you just twist the buffer tube off, and then you're able to access the spring guide, and you can do it within the 45 seconds, and basically remove it, and then just install the extra spring that comes with the box, or it comes with the gun inside the box. So that's something really nice. Also, the Edge 2.0 has a high torque motor with the 22 TPA. So paired with the trigger, the Aster unit inside, and really good battery, you're really going to get a nice trigger pull and really clean consistency out of the box. And let's see what else. And then also, all our guns, do come with a 6.03 inner barrel, so you're going to have really good consistency, accurate shots, and tight groupings with that. So, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be. I think our price range for these will vary depending on the models, but you can expect it to be around like $330 all the way up to like 399. But the general AEGs are going to be around like 379 is what most of them are going for. So with all the added value, with the two magazines, the gate, Astra, the pre-installed flat hop, wider Deans, Type 4 barrel, quick spring change. It's really nice for a player to really get all these additive items, from a manufacturer, and it saves them in the long run on upgrading, because you already have this out of the box. So
Yes. Yes. I did see the different style of stocks. Like if I would have seen this one, I probably would have gotten in because look at the stocks different. Just because you get so used to seeing all the crane stocks on a lot of models, you know what I mean? And so some people want that more sleek look. I think you guys call it the harder series or like the style, right? So like the harden,
oh, the heavy op
the
stock.
heavy ops. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
The heavy ops.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm over here trying to push my brand, right? The Battle Hardened series. But
Yeah.
as far as I mean, any of these rifles, if you're looking at the Edge 2.0, right? Any of them have the flat hop, so even the CQB length ones, those can be even outdoor rifles. And then with it coming with two springs, I mean, you can do a quick change where it's like do 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 do, and then now you're indoors. Perfect example. This past weekend we had a child who came in and he's played at the arena before. He's rented our rifles and stuff, and um, he went online and then his dad got him a nice rifle. It looked like a G36, and but luckily his was actually a quick change, and his dad was like, "No, I could do it myself," and I was like, "Cool." I was like, "Are you a tech?" And he's like, "No, but I saw a video, or I saw something on that website that was able to show me how to change out the spring. They just didn't come with the spring. Luckily that we
Right,
have
right,
springs in stock, from all strength levels to where it's like, okay, cool, let me get you an M90 spring, an M80 spring, whatever it is that he needed for that configuration to be able to shoot for our limits at the indoor field. And again, I just want to go over the fact that all of your rifles come with a heavy spring and a light spring, so that way you can
Right.
be able to do both. Usually, we try to tell people like, hey, you have a perfect build for outdoors, and then you have a perfect build for indoors. Not because we want to upsell you, or not only because we want to upsell you, but because also, you have the perfect rifle for outdoors and you have the perfect rifle for indoors. So you have your proprietary, your mission specific builds for different stuff that you want to do. But you make it kind of hard when you have these really looking like beautiful looking rifles and stuff, and then I mean you can never have too many rifles, right?
True, very true.
So
It's a bad habit to have, you know.
it's a bad
So
habit to have, an expensive habit to have, but I mean, for you guys to be able to do all this with all these upgrades, I think it's pretty cool. Um,
yeah, and it kind of matches with like how you mentioned how we include the downgrade spring and it kind of aligns our company model of like your way of airsoft and we're kind of this is kind of like our core mantra where we do we're kind of for the players, so and one of the reasons how Specna Arms was created is because during 15 years ago there was a lack of manufacturers in Poland that weren't really addressing the needs of the airsofters in the community. So after extensive market research, we're asking existing dealers and also players like, what would you like from an airsoft AEG or or GBB or pistol, and then we gather all this information and essentially start kind of making our own line. And this kind of goes back to what you mentioned is that we include that downgrade spring because we understand that players like to play outdoors. They like to play indoors at, AR-15. Some of them will wear, I mean, not wear, but will use Dean batteries, and some will still stick with Tamiya battery connectors. So we do include a Tamiya to Dean adapter as well too. So depending on what type of battery you use, your cover. You don't have to go out and buy another adapter to run your batteries with our guns, depending on whatever plug you're using.
right. So that's something to note, that it does come with the adapter for the Tamiya to Deans, or the Deans to Tamiya, depending on which way you're talking about. But that adapter, if it fell out of a box, from your local field, you know why? Because there's some people out there still trying to use Tamiya to Deans, or Tamiya plugs instead of Deans, especially for stuff that already has the Aster or the Gate Titan or whatever
Right. Yeah.
uh,
It
modulator you're
just
using.
that kind of compromises the performance out of it. Like where you have this nice AEG with these nice internals, and you're running Tamiya batteries, and there could be a valid reason why you're not using it, but I mean, it's just kind of a shame that you're really not making it run smoothly with like a Dean powered battery.
Right. So, Charlie, let's talk about like which. First of all, let's talk about like which rifle have you seen that's gonna be a standout above all the rest, or it's kind of hard to pick as well from this line.
Right. I would say for me personally, what I've been seeing is a lot of people gravitating towards the Edge 2.0 for the performance, but also the Chaos Bronze. Aesthetically, it looks very pleasing, and I will say like the photos really don't do justice to what it really looks like with the coating because there are other maybe brands that might have like a bronze type receiver or rail, but I think our color scheme and like Pantone color that we use for the Chaos Bronze really has a nice like shimmer, but like doesn't it's not overdoing it, and it really just gives it a nice pleasing pop to it. When it's sitting on the wall or when you're playing, it kind of makes it like dang, it's an eye grabber. You're like, oh, what gun is that? Because it's a nice color to it. So usually for me, I like the SAE 23.
SAE
It's right there
23.
below down.
This one? Oh, the
Yeah, or yeah, Chaos Brawn. Yeah, so
okay.
that's the one I like to run. There is another one that's similar to that, which just has a little bit more machine cuts on the rail to make it look a little bit nicer as well too. So again, it's everyone has their own personal preference of like aesthetically what's pleasing to their eyes. So we make uh, probably the same coating, but maybe have a different rail system, or maybe it may come with an angled grip as opposed to a vertical grip, depending on that, or maybe a different buttstock to accommodate what type of player you are. With the slim profile, buttstock that I mentioned earlier, the light op stock, that's more geared for like a speed softer, or maybe someone that just wants a light profile build. That's going to be playing indoors. Where the heavy op stock is, which is this one here, it's going to be more, catering to more of the Milsim player that just wants a better battery storage to put a bigger lipo battery in there to play all day.
Hmm. I'm trying to find the light off stock. I don't think it's on here. But it's a real
It should be on
thin.
the Edge series.
Okay, see if I can pull that up real quick.
Or actually, you know what? If you go to parts and accessories on the top, and then click on the SAAS.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, oops. Yeah,
SAAS.
yeah, that one. And then you'll just scroll down a little bit, and you'll see
Second.
our like in-house receivers that we've made, and also the different more of a close-up photos of the stocks
There
that
it
we
is.
have.
There's the heavy op stock with your
Correct.
logo
Yeah,
engraved in the very top. That's pretty cool. That gives it that
exactly.
designer brand feel, doesn't it? Like the
It
Louis
does. Yeah,
Vuitton
and
and
it's
you know
just
what I
like a
mean? The
little.
accents.
Right. And sometimes, like you just don't really think about it too much because you overlook it, and then when you like just start paying attention, you're like, oh crap, like the logos on there is kind of cool. So it's just that. So I always point that out as like a little Easter egg, just since it's easily overlooked, just because you just think the rubber with some texture on it.
Right, and here's the light op stock that I was talking about. Real thin.
Hmm.
The battery would go into your buffer tube. Uh, versus it being on the sides and stuff, but it gives it that super thin, lightweight. You were talking about that the heavy op stock is for my mill simmers. I've seen a lot of my mill simmers actually like this, because they're always transitioning left to right and stuff. For it's just lighter or it looks cooler,
That makes sense.
and it does come with the QD mount for
Correct. Yeah.
sling swivels if you
Yeah.
wanted to do that. Man, you guys really going into detail about a lot of stuff. Okay, so those are your picks as far as what you like. So Charlie, tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in the game, and why a lot of people jump on board when Charlie says, hey, I think this is a great idea.
Um, well, I mean, I've been in the, I would say, industry probably for over 10 years now. So I think throughout the years, a lot of dealers like yourself and media people and just end users, or customers, uh, have known me throughout the years. Whether I've come to an event or just stop by to say hi. But I think one of the reasons people might just get on board with me is just that I'm very transparent, and I kind of keep it real, if that makes sense. Like it just, I don't know. I don't sugarcoat anything. If there's something wrong, I'm like, hey, there is this issue, but we are working on it. We're not perfect. We see it, and we'll do our best to kind of fix that. Perfect example is when we brought in the Flex series and the Core series in June. They were wired to Tamiya's, and after the initial push, I had some dealers contact me, and some customers as well, asking like, why are they wired to to Tamiya? It's like 2023. Like, when are
Right.
manufacturers going to stop installing Tamiya connectors? So I did like a quick poll, did a little market research, and I kind of asked some dealers around to get their general like feedback, and then I talked to the factory, and we kind of made the changes. So on our incoming container, in the next few weeks, we'll be bringing in the Deans, wire to Deans for the Flex series and the Core series. So I think the transparency in terms of like, hey, me listening to them, to people, and just doing my best to make things work, if there is a problem, and trying to get it done as quickly as possible. I think this has given me a reputation that when I do transition from one company to another company, they're more likely to listen to me just because I have never really kind of did you dirty per se, or like steered you in the wrong direction, or even said anything to anybody in terms of dealers or end users or media influencers as well. So I think I guess I have this type of reputation, but I guess I would say the question goes back to you is why is it that you were just on board when I called you up, so it's like you could kind of share your story on why you decided to get on board with me, with this new company.
Well, I could tell you right now, Will, the manager that we have now, because Dom doesn't work with us anymore, but Will, who's the manager who became the manager back in October, I think that was a transition that you also made from another company, and then when he heard about what's going on with this company and how you were calling us up and we were having these meetings behind the door meetings as far as, hey, what is this, how's it work out, whatever the margins are, all the behind the door stuff. Will was like, well, why do you gotta take his word? You know what I mean? And Will's very black and white as far as if it doesn't make sense on paper, then it shouldn't be looked at twice. You know what I mean? At that moment, you know what I mean? So it's like more
Right,
like show me and then gain my trust, and then maybe the next one I'll listen to you. But
right,
from I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just name drop it just because it makes sense and there's no other way that I can use it other than back in 2018 or 17. I think it was 2017. Um, you were working with that other company and you were like, "Yo, bro, you need to get this rifle." And this is why I said, "What's Charlie's pick?" Right? Because
mhm,
your opinion means a lot more to me than than just the average sales rep. Uh,
mhm,
so you have that level of respect from me to where it's like you said, you never did anybody wrong. But besides just giving out intel, but you had reached out, right? And you're like, hey, I know you're the hype guy for AR, so I know if you're on board with this, then we're gonna push this particular product. And it was the ARP9, right?
right,
And this was before the 9 millimeter craze hit the market. And I was like, dude, I'm not a fan of it. We have our PDWs we have now. I think we were using at the time it was the Ares Amoeba, the M4 PDWs, and
mhm,
I think we were going through a weird transition where their new wire harness was overheating, and then it was
mhm,
shut down. It was like a safety feature for the rifle, but a lot
right,
of people were using that rifle a lot. So, when
right,
it overheats, it just shuts down. So they went through their R&D and they went through their changes and stuff. So we had this gap that we needed to fill, right? And you came in right on time, and little did we know, now we can see like the AR series or the ARP series is one of our hottest selling. Uh, it's no longer uh oh, that's the gun that everybody upgrades to. This is like now the flagship ARP series is gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be your first gun, or this is gonna be your upgraded gun, or this is even
right,
an HPA gun. I know we took an ARP 556 out to an op, and one guy accused Raptor of having an HPA rifle. He's like, of course, the freaking HPA guy always has to shoot hot, right? And you get that stigma where it's like, bro, it's an AG, man, it's a CQB rifle. Like I'm just
right,
using,
right,
3.2s, or and we're at a hospital, so we're shooting indoors. But even so, like he could even hear it, right? So that's something that I wanted to go over whenever we were shooting the Specna arms guns in our shooting range. The sound, the pops, and all that stuff that makes difference. With it being a type bore, it almost minimizes the amount of pop it comes out from the front. To where it's like, I know a lot of people are like, well, would you have foam filled suppressors, or if you had a trace unit, would it make it quiet? Believe it or not, like the more the sound is gonna be is the popping of the nozzle smacking in the front, versus the actual popping from the BB leaving the rifle. So
mhm,
going back to why we trust you again, I mean, you put us on that that hype train before the train was even a thing, as far as the ARP series. So that's why when it comes to this brand, I'm like, okay, you don't put your name on everything out there, right? Whether it's the SRS series or the SRL series or whatever it may be from the other company, uh,
Right.
um, you don't just throw your name on anything just because
Mm,
it's the hype thing to do. Um,
right.
because even you said about like the SSG one, right? And you're like, it's not my thing, but it's out there, It's
Right.
for a
Right.
niche player.
Right.
So
Exactly.
again, your brand. I'm not talking about Specna Arms. I'm not talking about G&G. I'm talking about you as Charlie. Your name, for me means a lot to where it's like, okay, cool. You're saying that these guys are great. Well, let's get them in. Let's dissect them. Let's look at them, and we'll put them on the market. If they approve. Because not everything that we've done in the past has been, it's the greatest thing in the world. And I don't want to brand bash any brands out there, but there are companies that, they'll jump on the hype wagon, and then you find out it's proprietary parts, or you find out
Yeah.
it's not very, or it's got positive threads. Something as simple as having negative threads in your front end of your barrel,
Yeah.
and they want to go positive, and you're like, "Are you
Right.
serious, bro? Come on, man! Now I gotta go look
Yeah.
for an adapter," and it's just
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
So
yeah, there are. Yeah, I mean, I understand that frustration where there's certain things that might not be to spec. Whether like pistols are not TM spec, then you're like, why? Like the standard is TM spec, and it's been this for a reason for so many years. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Kind of deal. But every other manufacturer tries to do something a little bit different, like how you mentioned, like positive threads or this or and they think that people are going to like that, but in reality they don't, and end users are going to be like kind of complaining about that, and then for you as a dealer for airsoft products, it's going to be harder to sell that because it's like as little as they might think it is, it's a big thing to the player themselves.
right. All right, we're gonna
So
go to our Q&A now.
yeah,
Gio
let's go for it.
and Chris, Big Sexy, you guys are open to say hello now.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thank you for waiting and tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, me and G, me and Gio were texting back and forth, asking questions while y'all were going over stuff towards each
Oh,
other, just to brainstorm. And you
mhm.
kept answering all the questions we were typing to each other.
Yeah,
I was
nice.
like, man,
But he's on it.
yeah. Um,
So, so
but
big, so Big Sexy. So introduce who you are. So that way for the viewers that don't know who you are. Uh, and
uh,
then Gio too.
yeah, I'm Big Sexy Chris. I'm on Rush Airsoft, but I actually had to move out of state, so I'm not in Texas anymore, but still try to stay up with airsoft.
Nice.
Gio.
And then the other person?
And then I'm Gio. I'm the captain and founder of Rush Airsoft, and we always just go and chill and play AR.
Nice.
And like how Chris said, like every time we would say something, it's like you were looking at our conversation while we were talking, and we're like, he just answered it.
I was like, dang it, think of a new question. But I met you guys already in the past, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
okay, yeah. So I know with like teams like I might meet a couple guys and then next thing you know there's new players that join the team and then I'm just like, oh, that like I don't think these are the same guys from the last time or anything. So I just wanted to make sure for sure. But I mean it's definitely been a minute since I've seen you guys and definitely been out to San Antonio. So hopefully I can um, maybe not maybe next year as my plans have kind of already been kind of settled in terms of like where I'm going and like who I'm going to go visit this year. But hopefully next year I can maybe make my way out to San Antonio for maybe an AR-15 event. We'll see. I got to talk to Jay and his wife about that. See if we can coordinate something. But hopefully I can go out there and see, check out, and play with you guys probably too, if I have a chance to. So that'd be kind of cool to
I
link
might
up with
have to
you.
make a trip back too.
Yeah.
One question I had was on the M4s. Is it just if you want to go HPA route, is it just an easy drop in?
Yeah, so like our gearboxes are going to be compatible. It's like basically TM spec, so all the parts inside are interchangeable. If you want to change out like the hop up unit, you want to put mm, like Laylax parts in there or whatever, or even HPA. It's an easy drop in. If you have a fusion engine, you can just drop it in the receiver and you're good to go. So kind of going back to what I mentioned about like your way of airsoft, we kind of made it kind of like just so simple to use that you can mix and match whatever you'd like to really make it the way you want it to be. And we understand that as a company that airsofters love customizations, even not to the crazy like HPA builds that like there's certain companies that make really amazing builds already pre-made, colors and everything, or skeletons, receivers, and things like that. But I mean, to the simplest thing, like, oh, I'm just going to change up my hop up unit to another brand, or I'm just going to change the gears. So we try to make it as easy and compatible for almost everything in the market. That way, it's easy to interchange the parts, and then you're not worrying about, is this compatible, or is this like it's only specific to this one company parts, or do I have to just upgrade with the whole company? So we try to eliminate that and just make it easy for everybody.
Yeah, that's Psycho's talking about. Like, you have companies that have their proprietary parts, but
Yeah, and,
y'all
and
don't.
I think part of the reason is that they really alienate themselves because they're not really paying attention to the U.S. market or really understanding what the players like yourselves are. Even you guys. I mean, when you guys came up to me a couple years ago, and reached out to me, I was really humbled, because you guys praised, the company I was working for many years, and just thought that their products were solid. So it was very humbling to know that you guys had a positive experience with the other companies' rifles and things like that. And so, and even throughout, even after I, left, I followed you guys on Instagram. We kind of communicated back and forth. So, I think that transparency that I talked about was that, you may feel that you're just like some player, but I still connect with anybody. Like, if someone DMs me on Instagram, I'm like, hey, what's up? I might not know the answer, but I'll do my best to get back to you and let you know, like, if this is a compatibility, or if this is, or you can use this part for that gun or whatever. So I think that kind of helps with the brand recognition as well too.
Yeah, I was that bronze one that you were saying. That one really stuck out to me. And around here where I live now, it's more outdoors. But I
Okay.
I was definitely looking at that bronze build. It looked really nice.
What state did you end up moving to?
I'm in Alabama now.
Oh, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah,
Charlie's
there's
like,
like one
Charlie's
outdoor
like, let
field.
me reach out to your field then. We'll
Yeah.
Yeah,
build
Right.
it for you.
please. They just opened like a month and a half ago here,
Yeah,
but
so
it's
I mean, if
outdoor.
anybody
So
who's watching this stream and you guys want to use this stream, by all means, go for it. I mean, that's what it's for, right? As far as data, information that you want to look at, as far as what they carry and why they carry it, or how they carry it, and who to reach out to, there you go. Um, I have some questions online here. I have Jimmy, who's watching on YouTube right now. He says, any plans to make a 13-1 uh, plus high torque build, or maybe a brushless version?
Yes. I know in Poland we are working with like a fast build, like a high speed builds. But I don't have too much details as of now to really go into details for it. So, our gear sets are 18-1, but I know obviously with more players that might prefer the 13-1 gear ratio. So, this is something that has been brought to our attention in the past, and we're looking at to see what models we'd like to kind of choose for this type of build, and come out with like a high speed build out of basically out of the box. So just stay tuned on our social medias. Shameless plug. You can just follow us, which is Specna Arms _official on Instagram. I feel like there are a few like fake Specna Arms accounts, so just make sure you follow the one that says _official on Instagram, and then just you can search on Facebook Specna Arms, and it was more likely to be the first hit if you guys want to stay updated on our Facebook with different information and news on that as well.
Okay, I have some more questions here. You guys can chime in if you want, but I'm just gonna go through the questions. Again, Jimmy asked, is Specna going to add more higher end gate products into their AEGs like the Titan?
Um, I would say it kind of goes back to depending on the marketplace. If players are willing to pay a more of a premium price, and if you do see me this fall and kind of going into winter at events, let me know. Because as little as you think it might be, like your voice doesn't matter, it does actually to me. I do take all that information from people in the chats, or even at events, or just dropping by to say hi to Jay, and he's telling me all this information just one on one. All this gets kind of like piled up in market research, and kind of I'm like, hey, I think we should come out with a Spec Arms, powered by a Titan, with gate inside. Obviously, it's going to be a much of a higher price point, but if there is a market, I see why not. We can't do that already, since we already have two products of gating our product. So it could be a possibility, but at the moment there is nothing in stone written yet for implementation of this yet.
I had a question real quick about the RALAR 15M.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask, where does the battery go? Because I know, like, well, we took a picture of it, but like, there's no stock. Like, where would the
It's a,
battery end up going?
which series is this?
I think it's the Edge
Edge,
2.0,
I think. Yeah, the Edge.
What website?
The X series. It goes
Oh,
back
the
here.
X.
No, it was an M4.
An
It was the
Uh,
M4.
M4.
yeah, it had no. It just had no stock on it.
Okay, I
What
It
got
says
it here. Stand by.
ESA-E18.
It's a
SE.
blurry picture, so I can't even find. I can't even.
Let me see if I can
I don't
find
even
it.
see on the website E18 on the 2.0.
Yeah.
No, 2.0. Hold on, stand by. Let me pull that up. Okay, good. And you said it was an M4 series?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, let me. Okay, the SAE.
18, right?
yeah, the E18.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I was like,
Maybe look
Can
for
you
search.
search it? Yeah.
Uh,
It was an
I probably can't
RRA.
search it because of the my hotkeys that are on my thing. So if I click like a number, like I have a hotkey for it, I may cut the stream off. So
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go old school on this one. So if whoever asked that question can get that actual, if it was the Edge series or the 2.0, because I cannot
I
find it.
just searched the Edge series. I couldn't find the E18 either, so I'm not sure exactly.
I just put it in the chat. Oops.
Oh, okay, got it. That one should be just front wired.
Is it gonna be like? I'm sure it'll probably be hard to put like batteries and stuff in it too, right?
Yeah, probably. You're probably gonna look at like anywhere from a like 600 900 milliamp battery. This specific model, we don't have in the
Oh, this one.
U.S. So I'm not too familiar to to be 100% what type of battery would fit on there. But I know on our PDWs that we do have, PDW stocks that we have currently in the US, about like a 600, 900 milliamp battery is what you kind of put in there to make it fit in that tight
Usually,
space.
what you do is you
So
get like a PEC box, a shallowed in PEC box, and then it's a hollowed out, and then that's what you use. So the wires would actually come out through the rail here.
You said that one's not in the U.S. though.
yeah, it's not available. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's going to be a lot of things that you see on the global website that aren't available just yet. And one of the reasons is just we just started our distribution in June, so we're only bringing in like our best sellers from the data points that we received throughout the years of doing business. So later on, as we kind of scale a business, we'll probably bring in different models, and different accessories and things like that to kind of have a complete selection of airsoft products that dealers might be interested in buying from me.
Now I got a question here from Ruben, our actual gun tech. He's watching on Facebook. He asked about the G36 model. Is that something that we'll be seeing in the U.S. market?
Unfortunately, no, due to licensing restrictions, we're not able to bring these in.
So I'm just gonna go ahead, go back to the main page.
Yeah,
Sorry about that, Ruben. I know he's a big fan of the G36, so it's hard to find a company that can be steady with their build quality and their upgrades, just like we do for M4s with the Tamiyas, going from that to Deans and so forth. I mean, he's a tech; he can build whatever he wants, but to actually just spend the money and make sure it's done right the first time, especially with the G36, that's why it's kind of tough. Again, if you can find somebody out there in the world that can get you it, unfortunately, I don't think we could be able to do that for you.
yeah.
Um, that's pretty much it as far as questions on my page here coming from both. Big shout out to Teddy who's watching, Richie who's watching. I'm just gonna go down the list here. Uh, I was on Facebook. This is YouTube. Police football airsoft car guy. Ryan Rosnader. If those guys didn't know who he is, we got Jimmy Miguel Oliveira. If I butchered your last name, I'm sorry. But Miguel, thank you for watching. He said the Edge 2.0 are beast. Great work, Charlie. Um,
Thank you, appreciate it.
we also have, don't forget to talk about the Solar Trigger in the 2.0 series. Again, that's Miguel. I think we did go over that, the trigger. Um, we got FC. I don't know who that is, but they said, "Yo, Psycho, what's up? Un saludo. Uh, Decide Alabama. I miss playing with you guys. So thank you for chiming in and saying hi. Um, FPS again. A lot of these guns shoot out of the box with their high FPS, right under 400. You're looking at 380, 385. I think we found on average, depending on what barrel length that you're picking. Um, and then the CQB rifles are going to be between the 330s to right under the 350s, again, depending on the barrel length configuration that you got. Um, and it just depends on what model as well. Uh, I'm sorry, Ruben. He said I'm dead. What is the material used for the inner barrel? Um,
It's gonna be
and
brass.
it's going to be brass. And then he asks, is the hop up poly? Yes, the hop up is poly. And it's a rotary style hop up system with
Correct,
the
it is.
yeah. Okay.
And if you and for example the with the Edge 2.0s that have the pre-installed flat hop nub in there, you can change the rotary hop up unit if you want to change it out to like a max hop up unit or like a Lalax hop up unit. They'll be all compatible with the flat hop nub in there as well too. So that's something to think about too if you do want to upgrade your rotary hop up.
That's Ruben. Sometimes Ruben's always asking me like, "Hey, Cycle, can you get a hold of our manufacturer? Because I have a
Okay.
question." Because obviously he's our gun tech, so
Okay.
and sometimes it's hard for us to just send an email regarding because sometimes we won't get any. If it's not ordering product, sometimes we don't get looked at right away. So it's like if it's an
No, but I
RMA
mean, like
or
even Ruben, like even for Ruben or even any like other gun tags or any people like listening, probably if you're not already a friend of mine on Facebook, it's easy to just shoot me a message. I'm pretty responsive, like within a few minutes. Granted, if I'm traveling and like it might take a couple hours if I'm like on the plane and have no Wi-Fi on the plane, but you can always typically get an answer within like a few hours, if not like a few minutes. So if not, you can always find me on Instagram, and then just DM me. Hey, I saw the the stream with AR-15. I had a question about this, and I'll if I know the answer, I'll shoot you a reply. And if I don't, then I'm like, hey, that's a good question. Let me get back to you, and then hopefully in a couple days, I'll figure out the answer for you.
and here on the
So
map, you can see for those guys that want to become a distributor, they're all over already. So it's not like they're new to the game. I mean, I know Charlie was talking about they're new to the U.S., but they're stomping their grounds. They're making their voices heard, and
yeah,
stuff
so I
like
mean,
that.
we kind of originate in Europe, so it kind of made sense to be in Europe and have a good footprint. And then now that we're in LA, basically, we're kind of pushing hard in the United States, and also something that I kind of want to do is like push more to Mexico and Central America and like the Latin uh, countries, just because I feel like my Latinos don't get as much love as other countries do. So I definitely want to kind of share the love for them as well, and and then I think the product would be a great product for them. So I think it kind of works like hand in hand to kind of spread the word down there too.
Right. I mean, I think we're pretty much done as far as the interview goes. You have any closing statements, Charlie?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to listen and join podcast, or I should say the stream. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is Specna_Charlie. Or if you're already friends on me, if you want to be a stalker and just find my last name and then just add me, you got to do a little digging. But I'm sure if you're friends with Jay, you're probably more likely you'll be able to find me.
Oh man,
So,
you're more popular than
um,
I am.
yeah, and if you want to stay updated with Specna Arms news and information of new products who are coming out with, which I forgot to mention is we are going to be bringing in AKs in next month, so that's something that is different from the M4. So uh, be on the look on that, and then other than that, thank you for listening, and thank you Jay for having me. Definitely was a great time to talk to you and Rush Airsoft again. So hopefully I'll see you guys pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, guys, so that's all we have for today. I'm sorry that we kind of ran a little bit over our time, but even so, there's a lot of information in this video. So if you're counted in between the beginning and the end, there's always that rewind button on Facebook and YouTube. Unfortunately, Restream doesn't allow us to restream as many as we used to before, so these are going to be our two platforms that we're going to be streaming on from now on. It's going to be Facebook and YouTube. So if you guys want more information, more content like this, go ahead and let me know, whether it's in the comments, like, share, all that good stuff. Because without that information, like Charlie said, we need you guys talking. If you guys ain't talking, then we ain't doing our job as far as creating buzz for the airsoft community. So you guys want more information, whether if we covered it in this video, like Charlie just said, the AK-47s, and you want to drop another live stream video like this, let us know so we can get that up and running. Maybe we won't be with Charlie. Maybe we'll be with our gun tech Ruben, if he's available at that moment. And maybe we can do an unboxing, a real live unboxing like we used to back in the day, versus just doing a quick 30-second video, just because that's how the algorithm works with today's time now. So we just have to adapt with the times, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. So from our family doors, live the game.
And if you like that video, make sure to check out all our other ones by subscribing and getting the latest by hitting the notification bell.
Hey guys! guys don't forget you can earn an all-day admission simply by coming into play. Fill out this punch card. It's 1 punch per person per visit. Once it's completed, turn it in for an all-day admission.
Come on, man.
Don't forget to check out all our other social media sites as far as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch to get some of our latest live streams and latest content out there for you. So we hope to see you guys here. So from our family to yours, play the game.